Wilfried, what have you done to my lovely Ferrari? Welcome to the Boys and the Boss podcast. This is your bus home following the League Cup final where the scoreline was Celtic 1, Mirren 3. I deleted the banner and had to retype it in again in my panic trying to get on here in a state of confusion, disarray, all sorts of stuff going on. I'm Terry. I'm your host. I'm going to be laughed at all night, clipped all night, as are my co-hosts, Liam and Conor. Thank you both for joining me. This is going to be one hell of a bumpy bus ride. Don't need to ask you how you are. I know how you both are. Let's get through this together. It's going to be bumpy. We're 155 after 90 seconds. So there we go. There will be loads of infiltrators. If you're a Hearts fan, a Rangers fan, anyone other than a Celtic fan, you are very welcome to sit and watch me squirm and swear and probably talk the biggest load of pish. Just give us a like and give us a share, and we're happy enough for you to sit here and glory in our misery. Thank you both for joining. This isn't the podcast I had planned. It is not the podcast that you had planned, but it is the podcast that, on reflection, if you look at what's happened over the last week and a half, we probably expect it. Celtic have lost the League Cup final to St Mirren. The team sitting ninth in the Scottish Premier League. Just let me pause because I can't go any further without a fucking vodka here, to be honest. This is unreal. I see in spite of what happened against Hearts and in spite of what happened against Roma, I still woke up this morning. Now, I woke up this morning with a very, very hazy head because I had a rough night last night. But I got myself gathered together plenty of time before kickoff, and I still went into this with hope, with enthusiasm, with expectancy, not entitlement, because you're never entitled to win any game. But I hoped that we would get the job done. And I think it would be remiss of me to go any further without saying congratulations to St Mirren. Congratulations on winning the Scottish League Cup for 2025. You were the better team on the day, and you deserve to win the cup. So congratulations, get that all out of the way. Now, let's get stuck into this. I'm going to start, Conor, with you. I am under strict orders to keep a tight eye on you, keep a rein on you. I know you're passionate. I know you're a cocktail ready to explode here. Give me your initial thoughts on just today's match.
Disgusting, embarrassing, predictable as well. Utterly predictable. Shocking as well. Like it's just this whole concoction emotions that has just came out of absolutely fucking. I would just came out absolutely nowhere. It's not. This has been in the pipeline before this guy even signed for me. Like I was on here.
You're turning it straight on to the manager.
Okay.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm not saying the borders need to do a massive part of this. Of course they are. But this guy hasn't a fucking clue what he's doing. We have went and appointed the fucking French Ted Lasso as your manager. That's what we went out and done. This guy is a fucking liability as the manager. And he's not going to win a single game in the next 3 weeks. I can guarantee that. The next 3 weeks, we're here now, between now and Christmas, to the end of Christmas, he's not going to win a single fucking game. Because he's lost the dressing room. He hasn't got a fucking clue about tactics. He hasn't got the players to implement his system. But despite the fact that he hasn't got the players to implement his system, he still decides to keep fucking playing it, despite the fact that it doesn't work. But we had a system that worked under Martin O'Neill, where we won 7 out of 8 games, 5 games domestically on the trot. Does he stick with it? No. What does he come in and do? He comes in and he does a Rodgers special. He just bullshits. He said, I'm coming in, it's all about culture and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to change much. What does he do? Right off the bat against the league leaders, he fucking changes it up for the get-go. The guy is a idiot. And I'm sorry, I don't want this to be like personal against him, but it's almost like to the fact where it's like a parody now. Like I've got Rangers mates, like my best mate's a Rangers fan. He messaged me after the game. He goes, "What the hell's going on with you?" He goes, "He's your version of Russell Martin." And I said to him, "Nah, mate, he's actually worse than Russell Martin because Russell Martin didn't lose his first 3 games as manager. Russell Martin won a game in Europe. Russell Martin got a draw in a derby. Russell Martin went toe to toe with people who were at the top of the table. This guy ain't fucking done that. Russell Martin had a more impressive CV than this guy does. This guy is a rookie manager, and we went and signed him in the middle of a season where, like, we were on a tightrope, by the way, until Martin O'Neill came in. And that was still a precarious situation. And Martin O'Neill managed to steady the ship. And as soon as he left, we're back on the tightrope. We could fall off. What did the board decide today? They decided to go and get a big old fucking shake and sign this guy who's so out of his fucking depth. It's unreal. You know what I mean? And it's honestly, it's no more than this showery fucking bastards on this board deserve. They deserve to have every single bit of venom and vitriol that comes their way after all of this. For the start of the season up to now, with how they treated Brendan Rodgers, with how they treated the fans, with the lack of investment, everything from the start to now, they deserve everything that comes their way and probably more. Until these people are fucking ousted out the club is going to continue to go down the fucking pan because these people do not give one single iota of a fuck about me, about you, about the hard-earned money we put in every single year, potentially every single week, but all the stuff that we do, they didn't care. They do not care, mate, and this is all they're making as well. But this guy's came in and he's absolutely just made an already bad situation, an already precarious league season, an already, topsy-turvy situation even worse.
Conor, take a breath. The defib is there if you need it, mate. It's up in the corner. Just you grab it. So you are right in there. This is Nancy's fault. He is in the wrong movie. This is all on him. Okay, I get that. And that is not just your view. That is a very strong view, representative of a high proportion of Celtic supporters. But how can this whole thing go wrong within 10 days? Because that is what this guy has been in the door. He's been in the door 10 days. So how can we go from where we were? And I think you need to appreciate here as well. Things weren't perfect under Martin. There were poor performances, some very poor performances, but you cannot deny that other than the one game that we lost, we got the result that we wanted in the rest of the games. And I was very, very strong in my view that if Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney, Fozzie, McManus, whatever that team looked like, if that stayed on for the rest of the season, I was very confident, 95% confident we would win the league. However, I embraced the change to Wilfried Nancy. Why am I even saying Nancy? I just said it for so many times. I can't stop myself saying it. Wilfried Nancy. I've embraced it. And do you know what? I'm not giving up on him yet, right? I'm not giving up on him. I don't think this is on him. And ultimately, see if he is an absolute diddy. And he can't be. He cannot be a diddy. I know you've said he's a rookie, but his achievements, albeit wherever they're at, I don't care. The guy has achieved stuff in football. And I don't believe he is an absolute ditty. But if he is, that's not on him. He applied for a job. It's on the people that give him the job. It's on the people who were managing the decline under Rodgers, then got an opportunity to correct that, did correct it, and brought in Martin O'Neill with a masterstroke. Although I still think they probably rang Gordon Strachan first and he told them to piss off. But anyway, that's besides the point. They then corrected everything and now they fucked it up again. And only the Celtic board could actually go through that cycle. So I do know where frustration comes. And I know where all the frustration comes at Nancy. But this is just a guy that applied for a job to go and better himself. It isn't his fault that he is in this gig right now. That's on the fault of the people that run Glasgow Celtic. And even if he is a diddy and a dud, there's a fucking hell of a lot on those 11 players that take to the pitch against Hearts and against Roma and against St Mirren and play absolute fucking dog shit football. Like guys that can't pass a ball 5 yards. That's nothing to do with Wilfried Nancy. And people are going, oh, he's made this big, massive change. He's made this change. Oh, he's got the three at the back. We looked at it during the week, and Liam, I will bring you in. I'm not just ignoring you. I will bring you in. But we used the analogy during the week with David Logue, right? And we used his history and his career in hairdressing. And I said, right, David, you're a hairdresser. You go, you apply for a job with one of the biggest world-renowned institution hairdressers, and you go in there and they do you cut hair the same way that you did that won you this opportunity, or do you completely change the way you cut hair? And he cuts hair the way he always cut it hair, because that's what got him the job. Now, what is this change? This change that has made all of these Celtic players absolutely fucking pish, and they can't get their poor wee heads around. Oh, a 3-4-2-1. My goodness. This is 11 footballers still on a pitch, right? Let's go back to David Logue. He's in his salon. And David's normal way of cutting hair is he starts at the back and he shaves it up the back, and then he goes to the right-hand side, then he goes to the left-hand side, then he does the top. And the only difference is somebody else has come in that's running the salon, and he just goes, David, I want you to do the same as you're doing, but all I want you to do is I want you to start on the right-hand side, do the right-hand side first, then go to the left-hand side, even it up, and then do the back, and then cut on the top. He's not asking these guys to fly a fucking a spaceship to the moon. It's a game of football. They're 11 footballers. Fucking most of them are internationals. He's not asking them to fucking go and do something. He's not asking them to go and play table tennis. It's football, and everybody's jumping on this. He's changed the formation. Oh, he's gone to 3. Oh, fuck my God, what do? We can't pass the ball 5 yards. I am sorry, guys. I am not buying it that this guy coming in and changing formation means we lose to Hearts, we lose to Roma, and we lose to fucking St Mirren in the cup final. Liam, help me out here, because I might need the defibrillator here shortly.
Let's keep it on the hair analogy. It's like you're wanting somebody to sit down with a full head of hair.
Hey, by the way, you're nobody to talk about a fucking haircut, by the way.
I don't get it. You're 100% right. I was looking at the players as well, and the same players that O'Neill got a tune out of looked like they were completely lost. Almost every single one of the internationals that play, especially the ones that play in the fullback, they all play in teams that play 3 at the back. USA goes 3 at the back. Ireland is doing 3 at the back. I mean, a lot of them have played in that system internationally. It's not like they're new to it. I think what it is like there's a motivation problem. O'Neill was able to motivate this team, and all you have to do is look at like the only time I see Wilfried animated is when he's trying to call over Callum McGregor, and I'm not kidding. That was
that's usually after he's been 2-0 down as well.
I thought there was a lot more action today. I thought there was a lot more cohesion between him and the players. He was out. The commentator said a few times the fourth official had to keep fucking bringing him back into his box. I thought he was starting to come out. I thought he was starting to get involved in the game. Sorry to cut across you.
No, I mean, that was it. I mean, it's got to be more than that sort of stuff, right? Like, at least Martin O'Neill had Maloney and Fozzie and all that on the sidelines as well that seemed to be contributing, getting these players going. This pulling McGregor over every 20 minutes. There was one point where he pulled him over, and then there was an injury in the play, and then McGregor went out and had a wee conference with everybody in the middle of the team. It went right back to playing the same shite football. I thought what happened today was right after kickoff, you could see, Hatate was like nowhere near his man for that goal. And then I was watching, a player who I've really liked for Celtic is Dyson Maeda. He just did not look interested today. And it's that sort of like lethargic sort of style right now is creeping into a Celtic. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to win against Roma. And I was expecting them to play better against Hearts. And we spoke about this game on Friday and the Friday feeling, Phil and I and Johnny Logue. And
Yeah,
I think
great
it was
show, by
like,
the way.
okay, I know it's going to be a difficult game for us, but it's only because we're playing against ourselves. But I didn't expect us to get beat. And I didn't expect us to get beat as easily as what they beat us, because at one point, you know, even when we scored that goal, we had a really, really good burst for about the next 15 minutes. And then as soon as Iheanacho went off, that team looked absolutely lost. He was the one that looked like he could understand what Nancy was trying to do with the team. But when Maeda went into that part, my God, he just looked lost. I think Hatate looked lost. So many of them just looked like, you know, we look like a St. Mirren team. And when you have that sort of parity in the league, you're going to lose big games like this. And that's not really how Celtic should be playing. So, yeah, is it too late to get a new Claxon where I can get Rodgers back and Greg Taylor back?
We're not getting Rodgers back. We're not
Conor.
getting Greg Taylor back. You did make a good point there, Liam, that I want to just pick up very briefly. And I'm trying to keep a structure on this, and it's very, very difficult because I'm pissed, and I was pissed yesterday, and I'm just topped up from yesterday, and I'm all over the place emotionally. I've got Conor on there who's just chomping at the bit to fucking get stuck in, and I need to keep a wee tiny bit of a structure. You picked up on Iheanacho, right? And Iheanacho is the epitome of everything that was wrong at Celtic, as in he is the afterthought centre forward that was signed, the Kyogo replacement that wasn't done in January, that wasn't done in the summer properly. And there's a lot of things going on at the moment. And I have one wee train of thought, and just hear me out on this, that the biggest problem in this team is that removal of Kyogo and absolutely no replacement put in. And we seen it in the second half of last season where we didn't have a proper centre forward. I know he missed the biggest glaring open goal last week for Birmingham. I couldn't give a fuck. He was good for us. He was brilliant for us. He was a talisman. He went in January. His career's gone south. Slap it up and don't give a fuck. The only bit I care about is there's a Kyogo hole left in this Celtic first team. And we didn't replace that in January. And we definitely didn't replace it in the summer. Albeit we then brought in Iheanacho after the deadline closed because that was our only option. Now, the thing about Iheanacho is when he plays, we have got someone that looks like a centre forward, moves like a centre forward, might actually be a centre forward. And when he's in the park, oh, lo and behold, we play all right. And he came on the other night and he made an impact. And I was on the show with David and Steve-O, and I'm not being wise after the event, but I did say, they said he starts Sunday. And I said, I don't think he starts Sunday because he's only back from an injury. And the last time we brought him back from an injury, he fucking pinged the hammy again. And lo and behold, he's gone and done the same again. But see, when he was on the park today, and we'll go through the game. We will go through the game. And I promise this won't be one of these shows where I just talk pish and it goes on for 2 hours. I ain't doing 2 hours. I've fallen out with my dad. I've fallen out with my wife. I've fallen out with my kids. I have got a lot of things to go and repair here. So I ain't sitting here for 2 hours talking to you two dickheads about a fucking Celtic match. I am going to repair the things in my life that I need to fucking look after. But when he was on the park, yes, the game starts. Oh, fuck it. I don't even know where I'm going here. I don't even want to go back to the starting lineup. Right? Iheanacho's on the park. We lose the first goal, right? Wilfried Nancy, in his team talk, did not say, lose a fucking goal from a corner in the first minute. He didn't say that. It didn't happen. No manager says that. This team in the last 10 days have lost goals from corners in all 3 fucking games. That is just absolute pish. Shite, useless, fucking crap players. Just can't even do the simple basics of football. But I want to tap back into what you were saying, Liam. Iheanacho, when he plays, he looks like a centre forward. He sounds like a centre forward. He might be a centre forward. If you have a centre forward in your team, then you might play a little bit better. And when he's on the park, even though he's long past his best, fucking 5 years past his best, because he's a centre forward and he looks like a centre forward and he moves like a centre forward, we play a little bit better as a team. And we lost that goal in the first minute. Shit happens. It's Wilfried Nancy's luck. He goes out there with the best plan in the world and they fuck it in the first minute. But we get back into it again and we get level. And Rio Hatate scores a wonderful goal, a really good finish. And Rio Hatate owed us that because he fucked up on their goal. He was weak as pish, to quote our first manager out of 3 for this season. And to be honest, that might end up being 4 or 5 before this season's fucking over. By the way, if we could end up with another manager before this season's over. Rio Hatate scored a wonderful goal. Brilliant. Well done, Rio. You corrected it because you were the fucking fault for the goal that they scored. However, I'm not joking, you're right. And I mean this. Until Iheanacho went off on 33 minutes, aside from the goal at the start, I seen enough in that period, and it's the exact same timeline as the Hearts game, where the first 30, 35, I seen enough where I've made notes, and they mean fuck all now because they're just writing on a page, but I've made notes where I've said, I can see what the manager's trying to do, and I can see signs of that being good in the future. And I know we've lost today, and I know it's easy at the end, and it's a clusterfuck. But I seen enough in that half hour when we had a proper centre forward on the park that I could see what was happening, and I could see the dots being joined. And I'm not just going to go in there just to go awkward against you, Conor, or anything at all. I think I've seen bits against Hearts and against St Mirren today where I can see what he wants and how it might happen, but he does not have the personnel there to do what he wants to do. And then that feeds back into your argument, Conor. If he doesn't have the tools that he needs to do the job, why is he still trying to do the job? Why does he not, I don't know, to try and keep the analogy going, why does he not subcontract that out to a specialist team that gets the job done until he can get the right people in? I've seen so much in that first half hour with Scales at left centre back. And remember, Scales played in the middle in the first 2, and he was a fish out of water. Scales cannot play in the middle. But see, when he was playing that left side of the 3, all of a sudden you've got Scales very comfortable looking, and a couple of really, really good deliveries where he's actually further forward than Tierney, who actually looked really good on the very left-hand side of the setup. And in that first 30, 35, Scales and Tierney were taking up really, really good positions and delivering really, really quality input into the box. And I thought, you know what? That left-hand side looks fucking nailed. That looks really good. Imagine if we had that in the same on the right-hand side with players that can play this role. And I'm starting to think, do you know what? I can see what this guy's trying to do a wee bit here. And I'm not going to go right. I'm not going to go as far as you've gone, Conor, where this guy is a fucking ditty. And I'm sorry if I'm quoting you wrong. We're up to 600 here. Jesus, this podcast is never 600. I am, I'm feeling the pressure here big time. All 600 of you, all 599 of you Hearts and Rangers fans, give us a wee like. And the one Celtic fan, give me a like too. Liam, I seen bits. Am I nuts? Am I mental? I seen bits in that first half hour where I could see what's meant to be happening here, especially down the left. And all I was thinking was, imagine if we had a couple of good players on the right instead of Ralston and Tuneke. Tuneke is a source of a lot of frustration, and I get that. I'm not going to go studs in on this guy. I think he's a young laddie in the early sprouts of his Celtic career. He carried us for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Everybody's going studs in on him. He played on the right. The previous manager told us he can't play on the right. Why can he not play on the right? Oh, because he plays on the left. And Wilfried again, and I'm going down one of these wee things that we've seen on YouTube. Impossible is an opinion, and all of a sudden Tuneke plays on the right, and I'll give it, he was consistent because he was shy on the right the same as he's shy on the left, but he wasn't any worse on the right than he was on the left, which kind of blows Rodgers out of the water. Liam, I'm trying to scratch around here and get shoots of positivity. Am I mental, or was there something decent after we got back into the game? Was there something decent? I felt there was a period of about half an hour where we absolutely bossed it, and it was nice. It was fluid. It was moving about, and it was decent. Am I crazy?
Right.
Am I crazy?
No, I mean, right up to half time, we did look good. We looked really good in that overlap. And you're right, I wouldn't give Scales as much credit, but my God, Tierney, that was probably one of the best games I've seen Tierney play.
He's about to kill himself. Look, he's about to kill himself up the corner.
I'm surprised he took him off it when he did. And I thought Tierney looked really good getting balls in. And those balls, even though there was one that Iheanacho got that was a header where, and by the way, their goalkeeper made some really good saves as well. So you got to give him credit there. But you're right. There was some movement, and there was a thing where we had them pinned in. We'd them pinned in for ages. And that did look very positive. And all that positivity went away at half time. And Conor, I know I think I got jumped ahead of you here, but I think you need to get in here and gauge your point of view as well. Do you see any positives in that today?
Liam, just let me get the defib. Get the defib charged up again here in case we need it.
I'm not gonna lie, boys. You used to me something you're
trying. Are we in drugs? Are we in drugs?
You're trying to convince yourselves is something that isn't there. A game isn't 35, 45 minutes. It's 90 minutes. You need to put in a performance for the entire game. You need to have your players playing for the entirety of the match.
Right. So did you see nothing in that first half hour? Like
I seen 10 minutes of okay play, and that was it. There was people are putting out these compilations here, but you can see what the manager's trying to do. It's 3 minutes of clips for the game against Hearts, 4 minutes of clips for the game against Roma, and 10 minutes of clips for the game of the day. And I'll put all that together. That's a 45 minutes of okay play, but it still doesn't, equate to fuck all, because we didn't lead in any of those games. We weren't winning any of those games, and we went behind in every single one of those games. We were coming from behind in every single one of those games. We haven't led once in the last 3 games against anybody. We conceded in the first minute against Roma. We conceded early against Hearts. We conceded early today against St Mirren. And now look, it's not the manager's fault that Casper Schmeichel is due for a fucking retirement home and the cunt's a geriatric and that Sinisalo should be ahead of him. It's not the manager's fault that Scales is a fucking donkey. It's not the manager's fault that Ralston is, one of the most limited footballers I've ever seen in a Celtic jersey and he should never pull on the kit again. But it's the manager's fault for picking them and putting them in the system when they can't do it. I didn't see these deficiencies. Well, majority of them under Martin O'Neill. Yes, some of the games were tough to watch under Martin, and we had to scrape and claw and fight with tooth and nail to get them over the line. But the difference is we got them over the fucking line. If Martin O'Neill takes that team today, we win. If Martin O'Neill takes a team against Hearts, we win. I'm not saying he beats Roma. Fair enough.
He gets a result. He gets a
draw.
I agree with you. I think we beat Hearts, we win the cup, and I think we get at least a point.
And that's my point. Because Martin O'Neill is long enough in the tooth that he knows what the fuck he's doing. He's not sitting there playing Connect 4 on the side of the fucking pitch in his first game in front of 60,000. And he's not sitting in there tonight, flapping his arms about like a fucking child in the school playground at his team, trying to take them in. Just let me get out, mate, please.
Right.
He's not sitting there. He's not doing this shit. He's not trying to change an entire system which worked for the previous regime and try and get it to work his own way. He sticks with what's working. Do you know what I mean? And this guy's came in. He's bullshitted. He's lied to the fans. He's came in. He said,
hold on. What do you mean he's lied? What do you mean?
He said he came in. He wasn't going to change anything. And he comes in first game and changes everything. That's a lie.
Hold on. But that's going back to my point. What has he changed? He's asked a hairdresser to just fucking start on the other side of the fucking head.
So he's changed the formation. He's playing Ralston.
He's asking him to fly a spaceship to the moon. He's just asking him to go and play football and win a game.
I has changed it. You can see it. I can see that everything that Martin O'Neill built.
Is this not? I'll take you back to your school days, which for you are a lot closer than me and Liam. Is this not a case of when the teacher's off sick and they bring in a substitute teacher, and they're a wee bit different, they're a wee bit quirky, they're a wee bit eccentric, and you just go in there and you take the piss out of them and you fucking down tools. Is that unfair of me to say that?
Mate, well, he's acting like a substitute teacher. He's acting like a guy that shouldn't be there. Then he's acting like a guy who's been.
But that's not on him. That's not on him.
That's not on him. I know
no, it's not on him. I'll tell you who it's on. I'll tell you who it's on. It's not on him.
This entire season, I blamed the board. I went 2 feet in on the board the whole season, mate. But this guy has been brought in with a job to do, and he's not doing it. He hasn't done it once.
It's not on him, Conor. It's on this guy, this fucker, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy who stands in front and takes stray golf balls from his fucking daddy. It is not on Wilfried Nancy that he is the guy that is in this movie trying to sort this out. Now, I still see positives, and I get that I'm now in the minority, right? And one game in, it was probably 70-30. After 2 games in against Roma, it was probably 50-50. Now, after today, it's probably 90-10, where Celtic fans want Wilfried Nancy gone. They cannot see an outcome where he is successful. I'm in the 10. And I kept PG 1888's comment up there. Terry, you're waffling away. Yeah, PG, do you know what? I waffle all through all these pods. I'm an absolute idiot. I just talk shite. I'm a drunk. I drink and I talk shite. That's just where I'm at. You're saying there it's Nancy playing players out of position. Honestly, it's footballers being asked to go and play football. I don't give a bollocks. You're playing 1 meter in from where you played last season. Who gives a fuck? Just go and play football and get the job done. I think a lot of this has to sit with these players. Honestly, I don't care, Conor. I know, I get all the argument. Jesus Christ, 700 deep. I'm getting bloody. This is like CCV getting over the halfway line here. I've got a bloody nose here, 700 deep. I am not buying into this, Conor, where you make a few. And I know what you're saying. He came in and he said he'd make tweaks and then he made wholesale changes. But he's asking 11 footballers to go and play football. And I've watched players kicking the ball out of play from 5 yards from the player that they're trying to pass to. I've watched a goalkeeper kicking a ball to a guy that couldn't trap it if he was the only player on the pitch and the ball was coming to him at 1 mile an hour. He couldn't trap it. It would go 20 yards and he's banging balls into him. I've watched these players perform at a totally inept level. And you cannot land all of this at this guy who has just landed in here in the last 10 days. You just cannot do that. I just don't buy it that this guy's walked into the dressing room and he has made everybody absolutely pish within 10 days. I just don't get it. And I've been in work. We've all been in work and I've been there where there's a new manager comes in and they come in and they get you into the office and they get you into the room and they give you a wee talk and just go, this is a space cadet. But I don't go out there and go back to my work and go, because he's a space cadet, I'm just going to down tools and I'm doing nothing. I just go out there and I go, right, do you know what? He might be a space cadet, but I'm a professional. I know what my job is. I'm going to go and do it. And see, even if he is a space cadet, I'm still going to go and do my job well and I'm going to excel and I'm going to be better than I was before, despite him. And I just cannot buy that in 10 days, one man has walked in and this whole club has just fallen to fucking shit. Conor, I want to hear you.
I mean, the thing I would say is, like, who's telling Casper Schmeichel to make those passes? Because he wasn't really doing them.
Nobody. He's doing it.
So the manager's not told him to make those passes. He's not told him. He's not. Let me finish. He's not told Liam Scales to bomb up the fucking left-hand side of the pitch and basically play as a winger when he can't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I thought Scales was brilliant. I thought Scales was really good going forward. I think Scales could actually be the left wing back. I genuinely do.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you need cover for him at the back because they were so fucking open at the back with only having 3 there. There's no one there to shore up the defence. When
It's
teams
a 3 and a 5.
when teams
It's a 3 and a
outmuscle
5.
us
It's
and just
interchangeable. If you go forward on the left, the right one tucks in. If you go forward on the right, the left one tucks in. I'm a nutter, and I can work all that out. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these players?
well, mate, it's the common denominator, right? And all this is like these are the same players, right? Under Brendan Rodgers, right?
Get him out the fuck. Get him in the bin. Get him to fucking.
These are the same players under Brendan Rodgers, right? Who were fucking shite, who looked lost, who couldn't win a game to save themselves, right? Martin O'Neill comes in, right? Gets excellent results, gets us back into the European campaign, gets a brilliant win over Rangers. I mean, closes the gap on Hearts. This guy comes in. The players look like they're fucking amateur hour. The players look like they can't be fucked. They look unmotivated. They look
Is
like
that
they
on him
haven't
or them? Is that on him or them?
It's on both of them.
Yeah,
But all I'm going to say is, right, is if you're hired, right, say you're hired to be a manager and make this fucking product, right, and you come in, and the guy before you fucked up, another guy came in, he did okay, and he's kind of steadied the ship a bit for you, saying, here's the thing, right, that I need you to make. I'm going away on holiday for a while. Here's what I did to start making it work, this machine work, right? This is what I've done. Now I'm going on holiday. See you later. And you come in and you go, he's told me what today. I've seen exactly how like this is going to work and how we've managed to get the good results with this new product. What am I going to do? I'm going to change the entire fucking thing and see how that goes for me. It doesn't work, mate. It does not work. The fact that, and look, that it's not on him, by the way, that we've still got guys like Anthony Ralston in the fucking team. It's not on him that we signed absolute fucking shite like Negrin and fucking Engels, who are powder puff and weak little fucking cowardly boys who cannot fucking stand up to the physicality in this league and they can't stand up to the fucking standards that are demanded at Celtic Football Club. But it's up to you as the guy.
So I'm going to try and.
It's up to you as the guy in charge to get them fucking motivated in for that, and it's up to you to get the results. No matter what. This is a results-driven club, mate. This is a success-driven club.
Are you in a delay or something?
No. It's just let me finish this tiny wee bit, right? And this guy's come in and said he doesn't give a fuck about winning. It's not about winning or losing. It's not about winning trophies. It's about results and about people and about kumbaya and fucking holding hands and shit. No one in this country isn't, and no what this fucking football club isn't, mate. He's in the wrong movie.
Right. Plan F. Kyogo scored 1 goal in 19 games. I get that. And do you know how that even annoys me more is because he's now in the wrong movie. He was also in the wrong movie and he went to, where'd he go? Rennes? Was it Rennes? He was in the right movie when he was with us. And by hook or by crook, he's ended up just a player that just ends up, nobody will ever think about him ever again. And that's disappointing because I think he's exactly what we need right now. He's Iheanacho upgraded and fit. That's what he is.
Terry, let me jump in here.
Yes, do you jump in all the way?
Sitting on the sidelines here.
I know. I keep talking shite, and then I keep making the mistake of bringing Conor in, and then you're fucking 20 minutes deep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what you're seeing a squad that's really underwhelmed, I think, with the choice of the manager. Yeah. And that happens as well too. So you've got a squad that you've just come off of the high of having Martin O'Neill in there, a guy that's won 2 European Cups. He's got a legacy with Celtic, and he's also, he's a well-regarded pundit. You see him on all the big games, you see him in World Cups and all that, giving his point of view, giving his viewpoint on football. And then you replace that with a guy from the fringes, the outback, the MLS, and whether you know him or not, but a guy that it's like getting Terry Henry in, and you can, well, at least he'll have some great connections, and at least he'll have, he's won a World Cup and he's, won a European Champions League and all that. No, we got his assistant, and it's looking like these players are underwhelmed. They look like underwhelmed with the choice, and whether that's that's unprofessional or not, I think you can't help it. It's an emotional thing. You've seen that drop, and what you're seeing now, you've seen a drop in the spirit. And I think everything that's wrong with Celtic right now is probably going on in the dressing room and on the park. I've never seen a Celtic with so many players lately that shout at each other on the pitch now. That wasn't happening under Ange. It wasn't happening as much under Rodgers, but it's sure as hell happening now as well. Schmeichel's always going after his head. Every time he makes a mistake, he's putting the ball out and he's shouting at players. Hatate was shouting at players today. Ingles just walks about like his face is tripping them. I mean, that boy today, all he really contributed today was falling over for a bunch of free kicks. Technical, my arse. He's no technical at all. I think what needs this team needs a vibrancy, and I don't think Callum or Kieran Tierney have the ability right now to get this team motivated and up for big games. It does. It looks like a bunch of boys with different cultures, different countries, all thrown in a team. They need a good night out or getting a big, I knew O'Neill was going to be a success. At the end of the game against Falkirk, there was a big rammy at the end with Arfield, and everybody got in there. Now, you could see it. You could see that the team was pumped and they're out there. They were aggressive. They were ready to fight for each other. That team today had no fight in them. They weren't fighting with St Mirren, and they weren't fighting for each other. And I think one of the big things that we got to do and look at this transfer window is with the players we have out right now, we need to bring some character into that dressing room that's going to help get this team up and fighting again, because they don't reflect the support. They're obviously not reflecting what Nancy is asking them to do, and he might be the problem as well. So, I think they just need to do it. And if that means maybe getting Maloney in, which was all sort of predicted was going to be a fallback thing and that, well, maybe that prediction might be the right thing. We all talked about Thorling. Thorling was bringing a vibrancy to the training and a laugh and that, but he was like, you could see he was pushing the players and that, and the Scottish players particularly responded really well. Right now, we don't have that.
Right, there seems to be an overwhelming theme in the chat that I am absolutely pissed and I should shut up and let you guys take over. Terry is steaming with the nonsense. I'll take all that on board. I am not like Wilfried Nancy. If you give me feedback, I will make changes and I will allow the other guys to speak, and I will shut my drunken mouth and let you guys take over. Right. What are we? 42 and a half minutes deep here, and we're now going to look at the starting lineup. I can't even see that there. It's too small. But essentially, what we need to decipher here is Anthony Ralston was brought in on the right-hand side of the back three, which moved Austin Trusty into the middle, moved Liam Scales across to the left, and moved Kieran Tierney across to the absolute left. And then Taneke moved from the left to the right-hand side, where he could never, ever play because he doesn't play there under Brendan. And then I think it was either McGregor and Engels or McGregor and Hatate, either of those options. And whichever one of them wasn't in the midfield two was then in the front three, along with Maida and Iheanacho. I know we're already at half time in terms of our match day analysis, but in terms of lineup, Conor, give me your thoughts. Any surprises there, or do we just fucking forget about the lineup and move on to the second half and try to get through this without getting an absolute kicking?
I mean, when the lineup came out, me and a lot of other people thought, oh fuck, he's took some, shut on board. He's totally changed it. He's went to, fucking he
took the feedback on board.
He's took the feedback on board. He sort of changes before
like
the back. Do you know what I mean? So, but then he hadn't. He still retained the same system with a three at the back. And like, as soon as I seen Anthony Ralston's name on that team sheet, like I like that was a major red flag for me, and I was proven right, because the boy is just an absolute like pitiful excuse. Yeah, football player. Do you know what I mean? Nice fella. I mean, loves the Celtic, tries really hard. But I mean, I would try really fucking hard if I was a Celtic player and I was getting paid that money every week. I'd fucking bleed for the jersey every week.
Hope you try harder than you do on here anyway.
Yeah, I'll let you away with that because you've had a drink, Terry. Yeah. But no, it's I was convinced that, we'll maybe be trying something different. He's maybe, it's finally going through to Nancy that he has to change, starting he has to go with a different system. but proven wrong yet again. And you know, I was happy to see an actual starting. I was a bit sceptical on Tineke starting. I think he's been very, very poor, and I don't think he necessarily deserves a start. I would have maybe preferred to see Yang come on, and you know, that's a sentence I never thought I'd say in the year of our Lord 2025. But fuck me, you know, it's where we're at now. But yeah, the lineup for me, it was just like I would have rather seen Kobe Donovan start. I would have rather seen Yang start ahead of Tineke. But you know, it's neither here nor there really. Like the squad is so pish and it's so threadbare that like whatever changes were made realistically would probably make very little difference with how poor the squad is overall and just how bad we are now and just how, you know, tactically I think inept we look and naive in terms of that. And you know, it goes for the top down. Obviously, like I'm saying, I don't watch Michael playing again, but you know, he's the fucking Denmark #1. He's more likely going to start ahead of Sinisalo, which I would rather see Sinisalo start with him any day of the week now because Schmeichel is done. For those first 2 goals, he was in no man's land. It was embarrassing. And for the third one as well, he just comes out and just fucking jumps into like thin air and gets nowhere near anybody. And it's, to me, it's been a long time coming. David Logue on the podcast, he's been very critical of Kasper Schmeichel for a long, long time. And in the back of my mind, I was like, aye, but he still pulls off those, you know, wonder saves when, you know, you're convinced the players, you know, run like dead on, head for goal, and he pulls off those amazing saves. But it's the basics. He can't do. He can't come and collect crosses. He can't command his own box. He cannot pass it out for the back. It's, you know, it's the basics. He can't he can't do, and we need with this system a player who's comfortable with a goalkeeper who's comfortable with playing with the ball at their feet in high pressure situations. And Sinisalo to me shown that. But you know, like if it was up to me, I'd fucking call the league today and just start to scratch, mate. Like it's, to me, this is done. Like this is absolutely done. I don't think Celtic are going to win a single thing this season, mate. I think the league's done. I think Hearts are going to go and squish it. I think Celtic will probably be lucky if we finish third. With what's going on now, people can say, "Oh, Christ, you're a bit, quick off the mark saying that. You know, there's still 6 months to go." If what I've seen in the first 3 games under this guy's regime continues, to me, it's bust. It's done. It's absolutely fucked. Like, I was having the thought that this has the potential to be more embarrassing than the COVID season because there's people actually going to be in the stadium to fucking see it because that's how bad this is. But obviously, we go into the second half 1-1 and we concede again. And it's so easy. It is so easy to get at our centre backs. Like, I don't know who the fuck is coaching our set pieces. We don't have a set piece coach, clearly. And if they do, then they must be pulling a sickie because they're not doing their fucking job. We are like the one area where we have struggled for years has been for set pieces, corners, free kicks, the whole shebang. And it hasn't been addressed for years. We are so powder puff at the back in these areas and it's never addressed. You've got somebody like Hatate who's like 5'6", Markin Fraser who's like 6 foot. Who's telling him to do that? I don't understand it. Get your tallest players marking the fucking tallest opposition players. I don't know. That seems like basic football knowledge to me. To get your biggest centre backs, your biggest players marking the most dangerous opposition players in your box. But Celtic don't seem to do that. That's not a thing on Nancy, by the way. We've done that for years. Like we have done that for years consistently. For set pieces, corners, we look fucking shite. We look scared as soon as that ball comes in. And don't even get me started on taking them where we've got a technical player who's a set piece specialist who can't even clear the first fucking man at a corner. Give me a break.
Conor, there is a hell of a lot of support for you in the chat here, mate. I'm going to have to go through some of these. And I don't know if these guys are are people that normally watch our pod. But if you watch us week in, week out, you will understand my humour. And there's a few things coming in here which really don't fit with reality. I'll bring this one up. Coke and alcohol don't mix. Well, for a start, I've never ever done Coke ever in my life. I do enjoy a drink. I do come on here to help the pod and give everyone a bit of fun after the games, but I don't mix Coke and alcohol, so you can ditch that one. Pissed up fool, looking for a row. No, I'm not. I am a pissed up fool. I'm not looking for a row. I'm just simply facilitating a podcast that 600 people are sitting watching live. I'm not looking for a row because these guys are my mates, so you can ditch that one as well. Conor's allowed his opinion, Terry. Of course he is. That's why I brought him on. I brought him on for his opinion, and I know that his opinion is going to be a wee bit different to mine. That's why I bring him on. I'm not lousy challenging. I'm just looking for a wee bit of substance behind the bluster. We've got someone in my corner, one person in my corner, John McDowell, T6L or T61. Terry's talking sense. Yes, John, I think you're probably in the minority, but I also do think you're right. Who else is going to have another pop at me? Terry, for fuck's sake, the board didn't play Yang at right back or start Ralston at right centre back or keep Rio. No, they didn't, but they are the reason why those are the players that were played in those positions. What's Nancy going to come in? He can't come in and play players that aren't there. He has to play the best with what he's got. So it is 100% on the board that he has to play Yang at right wing back or start Ralston. And I want to just jump in here, right? I take offense. I don't take offense to most comments because I know I'm just on here as a dickhead who's there to be shot at. But who do you want Nancy to play at right wing back or right centre back or in these positions? Who do you want him to play? Because when the shit was against the fan and you had to look for something different, what are you looking for? James Forrest, guy from fucking 20 years ago. What's your options here? He has been completely exposed here and hung out to dry by the board. They've just brought somebody in that deflects the blame. It was Brendan Rodgers previously, and I will 1,000,000% go in there that the right thing to do was to put Brendan Rodgers in the bin and get him wheeled out there on Monday morning. That was the right thing to do. But that doesn't mean Brendan Rodgers is a bad manager. And what's going on now doesn't mean that Wilfried Nancy is a bad manager. He has just been thrown in there as somebody that these charlatans of a board can deflect attention onto. Let's blame this guy. Let's put it all onto him. And then, do you know what? Peter, Michael, Chris, Dermot, and Dermot Jr., we can all mosey through for another month and then we get our salary paid again and then we get our fucking dividend and we get all that shit. They've just put somebody else in there. The change in the manager was an absolutely minimal part of the whole change that needs to happen at this club. I'm very surprised that people think you bring a new manager in and everything becomes all right. That doesn't become all right. You've got the exact same people that have caused this issue over the last 20 years trying to correct this issue. Why have you suddenly got confidence that they're going to go in there and make this right? It's the same dickheads in there making the same decisions. It's this guy. It's this fucking guy and his dad and the other one that I deleted during the pod because I didn't plan come back to it again because everybody tells me I'm moaning too much. I'm going on. Anyway, Terry, there's a word for you where I come from, and that's a slabber. Rickshaw Bob, I totally appreciate it. I take that as an absolute compliment. I am a slabber, but do you know what? I'm a slabber who's got Celtic at heart and somebody who wants Celtic to be better. You're very welcome in the pod. Appreciate your views. I'll bring them up. Thank you very much. What's this? Terry, let Conor. You're pissed. Yes, I know, but that's nothing different. That's no different to any pod. I'm pissed. Every pod.
I need a break. Liam needs to come in. I need a break.
Everyone I've done with Bhoys, I was pissed as well. So don't throw that at me as something to criticise me today. I'm pissed on all of them. Right. Anyway, where do we get to there? So we're all over the place. We've done the lineup. We've done the first half. I honestly was happy enough. I was happy enough at halftime. I thought we've overcome adversity. We lost the goal in the first minute. We came back. There was some good stuff. We were totally dominant. Then the key moment for me was when the Iheanacho went off, because honestly, Johnny Kenny came on, and I honestly didn't make any sort of note to Johnny Kenny until St Mirren scored to go 2-1 up. Liam, I will bring you in. Everybody wants you in. They want to hear what you have to say. Austin Trusty got most of the blame in terms of the commentary for the second goal. I wind it back one sort of screen before that. Johnny Kenny was absolutely lame as a centre forward. There was a ball up front. He didn't even compete for it. He was lame. We lost it. It ended up in a bit of a melee. Trusty got involved and he gave the ball away, and it ends up in the back of her net. And from that moment, the cup was gone. What's your thoughts? How do you feel at halftime? How do you feel going into the second half? And how do you feel around how things played out from there?
I could tell in the first 5 minutes of the second half that it was going to be terrible. I mean, Johnny Kenny, I never seen him kick a ball the entire day. I mean, if anything, it proved to me that he just cannot play. I always had hopes for him because he had wee bursts here and there, and I thought with O'Neill, giving him a wee bit of confidence. But let's face it, he's all we have. And again, we could talk about every single player in this team and their deficiencies and all that. But, you know, we went from a Ferrari to a Honda Civic to a bus pass. You know, that's where we are right now. We're trying to put tractor parts in a Honda Civic right now because that's what Johnny Kenny looks like to me. He doesn't look like he has it, especially to change any sort of style to fit a system. And there was just a few players that just looked awkward out there. They looked awkward. They just don't have a cohesive spirit to them right now. And yeah, I thought he looked weak. It's funny, you could see when the ball was getting switched over to that right side, there was 2 or 3 players running, St Mirren's players running through, and there was nobody tracking with them. Ingles was pathetic for running. Just a lot of these players, I just want to see the back of. I don't think bringing in better players around side them might make some of them better. But guys like Kenny, even Scales, I mean, Scales, when given the ball at his feet and given time to make a pass, in the second half, he was most frustrating player for me. Every time he got that ball in a position where there was a chance to put a through ball through, the amount of times he overhit it, the amount of times he just went to, you know, into the sky or just out of the touchline, just too hard. He doesn't know how to wait a pass for a forward to run onto. And I think that just, you know, you could just hear even in their club this morning, you could tell that I didn't think that as soon as the second half started, I didn't think we looked like winning this. As soon as they went up, I'm thinking, okay, that's us done. And yeah, you could see that. I'm surprised they didn't score more. And, you know, this is on the board. This is what happens. This is what happens when you mess about with the support and you know, everything's being diminished. We talk about the players regressing. Well, they're sort of taking the sting out the support. You know, here you are before Christmas, you know, where, you know, you should have that feel-good factor. This is always a cup that I usually see as win, you know, when we play in this. And it usually helps us go through a really difficult month until we get to the transfer window. But this transfer window, just like they fucked about getting a manager in, I don't think we've probably got any players we're even being linked to. And if they are, it's that idiot Tisdale, the ex-Exeter guy, that, you know, that's probably the dross we're going to be getting. You know, if we are going for players and we're going for MLS players, let's make it sure that it's guys at the top of their game that know that can come in and actually play a style of European football that Celtic's going to demand from them. No just American kickball players or, you know, guys we're getting for El Salvador and Honduras, which is a lot of the MLS guys. You know, a lot of them from the CONCACAF countries. But, you know, let's hope he's got somebody up his sleeve, because if it's just another guy that comes in that's like another Louis Palma or something like that, and I'll take him back right now. But, yeah, it's not going to work. And I just think the biggest change this January has to come with the board. We need to get some of them out of there and get new ideas, because they've just proven they can't do it. They're making the wrong decisions. The timing for Nancy coming in was wrong, and what Will directed against Nancy, and was not asking to maybe keep on Maloney or Fotheringham, because I think that was him being a bit naive and maybe just a bit too much of his own ego there, that he'll come in and he'll do it his way. I think he needed somebody to just sort of guide him through, what is Scottish football, because right now he's came up against two Scottish managers and both of them have absolutely just pulled his pants down and shoved his tactics board up his arse.
The overwhelming trend in the chat is for me to shut my mouth and let you two educated guys muse over the rest of the game. So I will do what the guys in the chat want. It went 3-1. To be honest, for me, it didn't really matter at that stage. I didn't see anything at all in the second half that made me think we were going to get back into it after that goal. A lot of the groups I'm in were jumping heavy in on TIC. We'd done it during the week with Steve-O from Celtic World Order and David. Both of those were very much in the TIC YouTuber fucking camp. I bat it back. I'm not blaming him. I think there's a hell of a lot worse going on at Celtic than a young laddie that's come in aged 21, 22 on the wing trying to beat players. I think there's a hell of a lot more going on at the club that warrants focus instead of that. And I still stand there. But once St Mirren went 3-1, there was nothing ever happening. I'm not going in Johnny Kenny. All I know is that for me, this final was lost the minute Ian Acho went off. From that moment on, for me, we had nothing. We were completely toothless. And when I was trying to bat back in defence of TIC during the week, one of the things I was thinking about was our top goal scorer this season, I think, is on 6 goals or fucking something like that. I think it's Negrin on 5 or 6 goals. Can you imagine if we had a 30-goal striker, which Celtic should have in this league every single season, a 30-goal striker? All of a sudden, all them runs that TIC makes and all them crosses that he puts into the box, if you've a proper centre forward and they put the ball in the net, then all of a sudden his stats look a hell of a lot different. I'm not going out there to defend him. I think there's a lot for him to develop on, a lot. But if you had a 30-goal striker in the middle, then a lot of the stuff that the guys out wide and the guys in midfield do would end up having some kind of metric because the ball ends up in the net. For us to be sitting here almost at January and our top goal scorer is Ben Negrin on, and I don't know exactly what it is. It's fucking 5 or 6 or 7. Like, it's an absolute joke. An absolute joke. We're toothless, absolutely toothless. Right. So we'll draw the game analysis there, because there was for me there was nothing in the second half. We'd done absolutely nothing. And we got what we deserve. Our asses handed to us. So the only last couple of bits we need to work through here. Do you know what? I did write one thing down, right? And I've been trying to back Nancy here, right? And I'm getting a lot of criticism in the chat for backing Nancy against Conor's better will and some of Liam's better will. And I've backed Nancy. And do you know what? I've gone on there, right? And I've backed him. And then he's come on to do his post-match press conference, and they've asked him for his summary. And I've just wrote down here a quote from him, and I'm going on here thinking, right, I want something from him here that's really going to stir everybody up and get us in the fucking mood for Wednesday night at Tannadice. Because do you know what? Today was the League Cup, yeah, and I want to win it. I really want to win it, but it wasn't the league. And Thursday night was the Europa League, and we really could have done with a result, but we didn't get it. But it's not the league. See if we get out this season and we win the league and nothing else. To me, I take that right now, because I think that's the most important outcome out of the 4 competitions that we're in. I think that's the one that we need to win to future-proof Celtic Football Club. If we get the league, I will forgo anything else in this one season, because it's been such a clusterfuck. So I'm going on to his post-match, trying to look for a crumb here that's going to motivate me, motivate all the Celtic support, and most importantly, motivate his players. And I'll just quote him, and it's out of context, but I'll quote him. The ball is the ball. Fucking hell. Where the fuck do you go with that? He's come on and he's just gone, the ball is the ball. So we've gone from season gone under Rodgers, bend him, got him in the fucking bin where he needed to be. We've brought in Martin O'Neill, crazy stuff, back to the future, but we get results in most of the games, and then we move forward into the new guy with the vision of the future. We go into the most important week in the season that he should not have been exposed to. I might be strong, I might be stupid, I might have no view in football, but he should not have been exposed to this week. This was the biggest week in our season. He should not have been put in there for this week. But at the end of this week, after losing all 3 games to Hearts, Roma, and St Mirren, he comes out in his post-match and one of his quotes is, the ball is the fucking ball. Now, I am struggling, and I really want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, but I am struggling. Conor, what does he mean when he says the ball is the ball?
I haven't a fucking clue. What does that mean?
The ball's the fucking ball.
What does that mean? But, like, it's genuinely like it's like fucking French David Brent mixed with fucking French Ted Lasso. It is the most caricature fucking guy I think we could have ever got. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, it's just, it's laughable. And we like see all the shit that's going to get clipped out, whether it's for this podcast or whether it's for like stuff that's happened on Twitter and his press conferences and that. Like we deserve it because this guy got fucking put in situ. What has happened with this appointment, right, is we had a fucking Ferrari, but the tractions came off a wee bit and the gear sticks a wee bit fucked, right? And we had a guy come in and kind of tweak it a bit and fix it a wee bit, right? And we've then took the keys at the Ferrari and we've handed it to a guy who's just passed his driving test and be like, here you go, you want to take this for a spin? Watch, your clutch is a bit sugly, it might be a wee bit fucked, but, you know, just try and be careful, and just, you know, try and see how you get on with it. It's baffling, mate. Like, all they had to do was wait a couple of weeks. I let Martin see at the cup final, because I'm sorry, but I know people will say, Martin didn't want to stay, Martin didn't want to stay. I know people who said, who been inside Celtic Park, who said Martin was absolutely fucking loving his time being back at Celtic. Was absolutely loving every single minute of it. And you could see that for the video when he left, he was in the dressing room talking to all the boys. So he had every right to take the cup final today and the previous 2 games as well to solidify his fucking legacy. And they only had to wait that 2 weeks. And there's a guy available, the ex-Club Bruges manager, who's got a real European pedigree. Fair enough, he hadn't had decent results recently, but he absolutely fucking schooled their rivals. He's had decent results in Europe, Champions League football, and he's fucking won the league in Belgium and that before as well. So that's a real appointment. They had to wait 2 weeks and just give it to Martin until now, and they could have got him in. But what did they do? They get this guy in who looks like he's so his depth is unreal. Like, we've fucked him into the ocean with fucking bloodthirsty sharks with a pair of water wings on. Celtic branded water wings will probably be available in the fucking shop on Christmas, by the way.
At a 35% discount before Christmas.
And we've put a finish line at the end saying, see past all those fucking ravenous great whites out it for you with your wee water wings. Go and cross that finish line and do it. Are you going to give me the help? You're going to give me, you know, money for a speedboat or a paddle boat to get here in January? Nah. Just go for it. See how you get on. That's what it is. The last 3 games, we've conceded 8 and scored 1. This is fucked, mate. This is fucked. from top to bottom, and that includes the board, because they hired this guy, right? This is on them. Most of this is on them. 95% of this is on them. But we can still blame the guy who's coming in and is, fucking basically done a piss out of the fucking floor and made a mess of the place when we just cleaned it up. Do you know what I mean?
Right, Liam. The chat wants you involved a bit more. Let's try and just bring this round to a head. We could sit here all night and talk absolute piss, and I'll get abused in the chat, and I'll take it on board. And honestly, everybody's comments, positive or negative, I'll take it on board. There's a bit of feedback there. I'll take it all on board, and I will build it into my performance going forward. And that will be brought up in my end of year review with the boss, Phil McGinley. I am quite sure with all of that. But let's try and bring this round, because we've got a match on Wednesday night. And for me, Wednesday night's match is more important than today's. Today's was for a cup that we've won fucking loads of times. And as I've said, for me, if we can get out of this season with the league alone, that will be a fucking result. Not a result for the board, not a result for whoever the manager might be, because who knows who the manager is going to be at the end of the season. But it will be a result for the supporters if this team can win the league through this absolute shit show of all shit shows. And if I can get out of this with Celtic winning the league, I'll take it right now. I'll sign right now for league. Fucked in the cup, fucked in the Scottish Cup, fucked out of Europe. I'll take that. I'll just take the league because of what it means for the future of Celtic Football Club. Because I think about the here and now, I think about the today, and I think about the future of the club. And I'm also able to do that in a way where I think this manager could, for me, be someone who makes this club better in the future. And I take all your concerns on board, Conor. I take all of that. But if we look at how we've performed in Europe over the years, and even under Martin, let's not try and dress it up here. Under Martin, we went to Midtjylland and we got our arse handed to us. And we need to do something differently in Europe to make us be able to bring up the bit that came up in Ross Desmond's daddy's speech that he relayed to everybody. We need to be able to punch above our weight. And I genuinely do think that if this manager gets the right time and the right backing and the right players to come in, I think he could come up with something that makes us punch above our weight more than we did under Brendan, more than we did under Ange, and more than we did under Martin in the 8 weeks, or he was here, or 6 weeks, or whatever it is. I'm not sure he's going to get that time.
Well, Terry,
go ahead, Liam.
How much time does he need? Like I said this at the very beginning, I said, you've got 5 games to prove yourself. 5.
Right, so he's 3 down. He's got 2 to go. So is that Dundee United and next weekend?
Well, so Dundee United is a very organised team, and Nancy doesn't seem to. First of all, I don't think he's shown Scottish football enough respect it deserves. You know, he's playing this team where he thinks, oh, we should just be able to steamroller these teams, and some of the players we have, we do, but we want to do that under Rodgers. So I don't know. I think one of the best things that can happen, we need to sort of get the board. Get the change room sorted, get this team playing with confidence, get them teams playing with each other. If there's rumours that players are talking to their managers and all that, and like Maeda or Hatate or any of these guys that are away, then you know what, it'd be great to sort of like sign somebody. You could sign somebody right now for the MLS and then announce them, and they don't play to January. But at least it might be something just to give everybody a lift, knowing that there's people coming in, that just we're going to be relying on scales and that. But if he does lose these next 2 games, I think 5 games is enough to see.
I think 5's fair. I genuinely do. I think 5's fair to him. If we go to 5 and there's no positive results, I think 5's fair. I don't even give a bollocks. I've said this already. He might actually still be a brilliant manager, but if he goes 5 and it ain't happening,
here's the thing. Here's what
doesn't come back.
The only thing, he might be a brilliant manager, but we've got an absolutely shite boardroom, And I'm thinking, but if he loses that fourth game, they're looking at Mr. Neil Francis Lennon probably to come in, and you could just see this board.
We had a brilliant manager at the start of the season. We had a brilliant manager, one that we couldn't normally get if he wasn't a Celtic supporter. That didn't make it the right cocktail for success at the club because of the poison that's going on in the background. We will not get a manager with a higher profile than Brendan Rodgers, not in the next 50 years. So Wilfried Nancy's nowhere near that level of what Brendan Rodgers was. But we couldn't win this league. I said it. We couldn't win this league under Brendan Rodgers. No matter how good he is, we couldn't win it because the damage was done. And I do agree with you now. We're 3 games out of 5, and I think 5's fair. If we do not win one or both of the next 2 games, this has to fucking go. This guy could be the next Pep. It doesn't matter. If after 5 there's nothing, then do not resuscitate. Do not resuscitate. Out to fuck and somebody else. I don't know who it is. There is a scenario here. Well, let me put it on to use. Can you see a scenario where Martin's back here before fucking New Year?
No. If they ask Martin to come back again, he's going to turn around and tell them to go and take a fuck to themselves.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would.
Well, you do.
I think Martin would come back again and fucking re-establish himself as the Don again.
Oh, look, I love it, but then it becomes a fucking pantomime as well. Like it just becomes
a pantomime already. There's just too many villains in it.
Oh, his wife only let him.
His wife, she doesn't even know he's left for the first time yet. She's just landing.
He told her he was going for a loaf. Didn't even, had to come back just to get his passport for the first year.
The loaf was out of date, so he has to go and get another one.
I know a guy told his wife he was going for a loaf and ended up in Canada. I played football with him.
Is that you?
No. I see it.
Honestly, I mean, anything is possible in this season, right? Anything we say right now might sound stupid. Is there a scenario where Martin O'Neill is back for the 3rd time this season? I wouldn't rule that fucking out.
If we're lucky, if we're very lucky, yeah, but I think it's very much in his terms. And I think you could see as well by his surprise that he was getting another game and another game, that he was doing the board a favour. And I think he sees through this board as well. He sees what the fans sees as well. And by the way, can you imagine Martin O'Neill sitting at home watching that Dross today? What must he have been thinking? I feel bad for him. Watching a team that he got to the final just to sort of give it away so easily and be so just out of sorts and just not having a clue. So, but anyway, I love what Martin did when he come back, and I think it just lifted his aura and everything even more than it already was. But I don't think he owes us any more favours. I think we've called in that favour. So now it's up to the board to fucking be world class in what they do, get rid of the echo chamber telling each other they're fantastic and they're one of the best run clubs in the world, and get out there and start thinking, okay, signs are not good that this manager might not be the guy. Where's your plan B? Who's your backup? And I think you should just be getting prepared to fail. And if it works out, great, no bother. But if it doesn't, come on, I want to know what it is. It can't just, be Sean Maloney. There has to be, who's our next big manager? And we know that Colin just said that boy for Belgian is available right now. Could he do a turn? I don't know.
Again, I go there. Why would you want to bring in someone who's won 3 matches out of the last 15?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that a recipe for success? Conor, I want to bring you in here because the chat wants more of Conor because they find you more sensible than me, because apparently I'm on all sorts of cocktails of amphetamines and alcohol and all that shit. I'm not going there again. Conor, how does the next few days play out? Well, Wilfried Nancy will still be in charge against Dundee United. I'm taking that as a given. So that's my first question. Will he still be there come Wednesday? What's your thoughts on Wednesday night? What happens next? What does Conor Carr want to happen next? What do you think will happen next?
I think he's still in charge on Wednesday at the very least, because that's obviously one of our games in hand against Hearts. For me, like, But by the way, what happens over the next 48 hours is going to be quite interesting, because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the chat and what's happening online, but there is fans at Celtic Park right now who are, protesting and not very happy, to say the least, about what's unfolded today. But see, like, what I want to happen, I want Wilfried Nancy to fucking give me the reddest necks and the biggest fuck you, I told you so's of all fuck you, I told you so's. I want him to go and win every single game he plays between now and the end of the season. Of course I do. I don't want Celtic to lose. I don't take pleasure in coming on here and saying, I told you so, I told you this guy was a fucking diddy, I told you he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't enjoy it. I'm not having a good time here, coming on here and telling you that I fucking think he's an idiot. I'm not enjoying it. It's not fun for me. But what I think is going to happen is he's more than likely, he's either going to scrape this by the tiniest of tiniest ball hairs on Wednesday, whether it's a 2-1 in the last minute or a dodgy penalty in the 89th minute for us to get out of the line 1-0, or he's going to completely fall flat on his fucking face again and lose, probably by a decent margin as well, because we can't defend to save our bloody lives and we can't score goals. So that's a winning combination, is it not? When we can't score goals, we can't fucking defend either. It's not exactly, a great combo, is it? So that's what I think is going to happen. But what I want to happen, obviously, is I want them to go and win every single game from now to the end of the season. I want them to prove me wrong. I want them to go and win a double. I want them to get to the next round of the Europa League. I want them to fucking rub Rangers and Hearts' fucking noses into the dirt and burst their wee fucking bubbles. Of course I do. But can I see it happening? Absolutely fucking not. I can't see it happening. But by the way, if it does, right, I will swear to God, Terry, if this guy turns out to be a decent manager, I will do whatever you want me to do. Like, just
A
say
forfeit?
something.
Are you talking about a forfeit?
I'll do a forfeit. I'll make a bet with you right now. If you want me to pay you money, if you want me to fucking dance about the streets half naked in a fucking Rangers shirt.
No, I definitely don't want that. I do not want that under any
Whatever you
circumstances.
want me to do, I'll do a forfeit if this guy turns out to be a good manager. That's how far I'm willing to go for this, because I cannot see it happening, mate.
Listen, Conor, I think what we need to circle around here, just to bring it all to a close, is yourself, myself, and Liam. We've all got slightly different views on where we're at with the club, and every single person in the chat, you are all valued 100%. And I've brought up loads of comments that are positive around Nancy, loads of comments that are negative around me, loads of positives around Conor, and all that kind of stuff. Listen, guys, apart from the odd 5 or 10% that are in the chat just for giggles, all of us support Celtic Football Club, and we all want the best thing for this football club. And the comment of the day for me, and I'm going to bring it up again because it is the comment of the day, Rickshaw Bob. Terry, there is a word for you where I come from, and that is a slabber. Do you know what, Rickshaw? I genuinely take that on board, and I know that I come onto these pods and I have a drink when I'm watching Celtic, and I come on, I talk shit after, and I ain't making no apologies for that. That's what I did on the Boise bus. That's what I do on the Boys on the Bus. And that's what some people like to come on and just hear my honest, raw reviews on football and Celtic. And that's where I'm at. If you don't like it, fair play. I still invite you to come on and criticize me. For anyone that thinks it's fun, brilliant, come on and keep the fun going. And I've no issue with that. I will take all the negatives on board. I'm not some sort of guy that's trying to make a career in journalism. I'm just a Celtic fan that watches Celtic, has a drink, and comes on and talks about it with fellow Celtic fans, just to chew the fat about the game. And that's all I do. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do like it, brilliant. Give us a like, give us a share, hit the fucking bells and all that pish. Honestly, I couldn't care less. We were right up to nearly 700 there. This show has never done numbers like this. It only happens because Celtic have a negative result. What I'd like to do is thank both of you guys coming on, because these are the days that being a podcaster is very, very difficult, where you've put your hand up before the match and you've said, I'll come on after it, in the belief that you're coming on to talk about a trophy celebration, but sometimes the gamble is you will have to come on and take part in a podcast where it is very, very toxic. There is a lot of ill feeling against the club, and frustrations boil over, and people make comments about you and me and all of us. We're all Celtic fans wanting the best for the club. Today didn't go our way. We congratulate St Mirren because as a podcast, we always do this. If the other team are better than us, we just sit there and go, you were better than us. But you were better than us because of a lot of things that have gone wrong on our side. Conor, you're very much in the Nancy out camp. I'm not quite there yet. I'm thinking about it. I'm reviewing it game on game, a little bit like your post-match contract. I'm reviewing it game on game, and I'll make a decision as we go along. But fucking hell, lads, we need to get this together. We need a result on Wednesday night. Out of all the games we've played so far, Wednesday night is now the big one. I'll be on to talk it over with somebody. I don't know who it'll be. We'll be on again. But my goodness, we need a result. If anybody is out there that can talk to the gods or anything, please get Celtic a result on Wednesday night. That is what we need. Guys, really thank you so much for coming on. Thank you very much. Really, really hard pod to come on and do your stuff. We just do it. We just do it because we're Celtic fans and we come on and we chew the fat, and there's people that watch us, and if they get anything out of it, be it a bit of fun, a bit of fucking escape, or just a bit of ridicule to fucking come on and tell me I'm a dickhead, whatever it is, if you get something out of it, give us a like, give us a share, hit the bell, all that pish. Let's go. The bus home will be here again during the week, and let's just pray Celtic get a better result. Thank you both very much for coming on.
Cheers, mate.